All right, welcome everybody. I'm Travis Mark with the Lancaster Fairfield County Chamber of Commerce. I know almost every one of you. There's a few new faces in the crowd as well, but thanks for coming for our 2019-20 update and outlook. Just curious, talking to a few people as folks are coming in, who is new to the Chamber of Commerce just in the last year? Want to raise your hands? Okay, that's pretty good. We saw some new faces, some people that have been involved with Chamber of Commerce said, I see new faces, which is always a good thing. Also, before we get started, I'd like to recognize Chamber of Commerce board members that are here. If you're a board member, want to raise your hand? Yeah, thank you. We appreciate your support of the Chamber and your dedication to our organization. I also want to take a moment to thank our sponsor for today's event. We have Ron Roof here from Roof & Associates. Ron, thank you for sponsoring our event. Let's give Ron a round of applause. So today we're going to give, again, a little bit of an update as to what's happened over the last year. I want this to be interactive. Stop me if you have a question that I didn't address as I'm going through this. But I want to start with just a little bit about who we are. So, a little bit of background. Some of you may or may not know that the Chamber of Commerce was actually founded in 1897 as a board of trade here in Lancaster. That's a long time ago. And the cool thing is we still have some relics, if you will, from the Chamber of Commerce dating all the way back at least into the 19-teens. We were rummaging through a few things before we came over here, and I thought this would be interesting. This right here is a report of the Lancaster Chamber of Commerce from May 1st, 1919. So 100 years ago, okay? As I open it up, I see that they have committees and efforts going on in the areas of health, organization, agriculture, civic affairs, serving our retail merchants, legislation, industries, industrial expansion, and publicity of our Chamber of Commerce members. They participate in things like the 4th of July celebration. They've had dozens of meetings held in the Chamber room during the past year. They are involved in advertising. They are involved in the National Chamber of Commerce. The reason I bring that up is 100 years later, you're going to see that we are doing some of the exact same things, just in a different way. But it says a lot for our business community here in Lancaster and really throughout Fairfield County that for this long, we've decided it's important enough to have a group of people that represent business in Lancaster. So very cool. I love looking through this stuff. I also have a membership roster here from 1916. And it includes categories just like we have today through our chamber membership. Some of the categories are a little different. You know, we don't have the tobacco industry here anymore. But we have grocers, we have glass manufacturers, including Fairfield Glass and Hawking Glass, hardware stores, jewelers, including Wendell Jewelers back in 1916, some names you might recognize. Photographers, physicians and surgeons. Physicians and surgeons is a little slim though, there's 3. So, but that's also because I think back, you know, there's a few stats in here. The population at that time in 1916 was 16,000. The area was 4 square miles, and this is Lancaster again at a glance. They touted a low insurance rate, a tax rate of 1.26, no county debt, splendid water systems, natural gas plant owned by the city. That was a big deal back at the time. We attracted a lot of industry that way by having our own natural gas capabilities. And property valuation of looks like $17,000. 16 miles of paved streets, 20 miles of sewers, and 15 miles of city street car lines. So just a little information in this little booklet about the Chamber of Commerce then. So we've come a long way. Today we have 540 members, which puts us as about the 6th largest Chamber of Commerce in Central Ohio. We have 4 staff members today and a 20-member board. Our mission here at the Chamber of Commerce is to support a prosperous business environment that enhances life in our region by providing value-added programs and services that contribute to our members' success. So what do we do? I want to just refresh everybody's memory. We concentrate in these 4 areas: marketing services, member services, community advocacy, and business advocacy. So what have we been doing in those areas over the past year? So we've had 52 weekly newsletters go out, which would encapsulate about 134,000 impressions. We provide sponsorship opportunities for our members at many different events. And as a matter of fact, 50 different events we have. Over 3,000 in attendance throughout the year. We provide referrals to our members on a daily and weekly basis. We also do over 25 ribbon cuttings and groundbreakings per year. And we have TV and radio show programs that we also do in partnership with companies like Interface Video with our Business Forward program. Interface is streaming live today our event, which is some technology we're going to continue to use throughout the year to bring some of our events to the rest of our members that can't be here with us today. Radio programs. You know, unfortunately we lost a local radio station. Well, not necessarily lost, but it's sold and the format's changed a little bit. I've been with the Chamber of Commerce for 12 years now, coming up in March. Once a week for 12 years, I recorded a radio show or did a radio show live. That's over 600 radio shows we've done for small business over the last 12 years. So we miss having the opportunity to do that, but let's just say it was a good run. In our member services category, we have created strategic partnerships with organizations or programs like the SOCA Insurance Program. This stands for the Southern Ohio Chamber Alliance. This is an area, a chamber alliance that we're involved in that allows us to have access to this insurance program. We have several local agents in town that can quote the SOCA program to our members. You have to be a member of the Chamber of Commerce to participate in this pool, but oftentimes our members find this as a rather more affordable approach to their healthcare needs for their company. We have partnered with other organizations for different discounts that chamber members can get. We have completed in this past year the renovations of a brand new conference room. We're going to get into that a little bit more later. I mentioned again over 25 ribbon cuttings and groundbreakings. We have a safety council that we partner with the Ohio Bureau of Workers' Compensation for. We provide meetings for our businesses on a monthly basis to provide safety education. This partnership again allows us to receive some subsidies from the BWC. We provide the programming. I'm pleased to say this past year when we attended the state conference for safety councils, out of approximately 84 different safety councils throughout the state, our safety council here in Fairfield County was recognized as an honorable mention, meaning it was one of the top 8 safety councils in the state of Ohio. So kudos to Cheryl. She's our program manager for that project in that program. But we're pretty proud of where that program has gone and the services that we provide there. We have Fairfield Leadership as well. We're going to talk about that in a little bit as we move forward as well. So in the community advocacy area, what have we been up to here? Well, the Chamber participates, just our staff members participate in well over 15 boards and committees. So that means we're involved in the community, not just with our own organization, but with lots of others. We sit on boards and committees that do anything from economic development activities to local foods to Meals on Wheels, referral groups, you name it, we're dabbling in it for sure. We've hosted dozens of nonprofit meetings in the Chamber of Commerce. We tend to be an area where nonprofits can come use our conference room and use our space. We have countless strategic partners, like our Destination Downtown folks, which we joke about on a daily basis when we borrow things from one another. We say, hey, is this part of the strategic partnership agreement? But we do partner with other organizations like Visit Fairfield County and lots of other local organizations. We provide for the community, not just our members, events like the State of the County Address, the State of the Schools Address. Many of you attended those. That's an opportunity for our community to get an inside look at those organizations and what's going on. And business advocacy, again, another important area that we like to provide for our members. We have recognized several years back that small businesses need training opportunities. Some of you have probably heard me say this before, but the small mom and pop shop are really good at providing a service or making some type of widget. They're really good at that. However, the hard part for them is when the close sign gets flipped on the front door and you've got to go in the back room and get on the computer and figure out what my finances look like, or how do I write a handbook, or if I'm hiring somebody, what's the best practice in hiring somebody. So what we're trying to do is provide some training for small businesses so they have a little bit of insight onto those areas that they may not have the resources for or lack in knowledge. SBDC, this is the Small Business Development Centers of Ohio. It's an SBA funded program. We've created a strategic partnership with the SBDC to provide some additional training opportunities. We also provide a consulting service through the SBDC in our office. Some of you may or may not know, but we have a consultant there on a weekly basis, Erin Gibson, who is, her office is located in Athens at the Voinovich School for Public Affairs. She comes up, we give her space to meet in our office, and she will meet with people deciding, trying to open a new business. They're an existing business that maybe needs help with something. They want to expand, they need financing assistance, all of those. So it's for startups and for existing businesses. She does a great job. We refer a lot of members to Erin for those services. I should mention too, up at the SBU training sessions, the luncheons. This is in partnership with a local company that is called Action Coach. Heather Yakes, some of you may know, she's one of our chamber board members, but I have to give them a shout out because they help us provide some of that training on a monthly basis for our members. We continue to remain involved in efforts like the Fairfield 33 Development Alliance, a public-private partnership that allows us to not only market Fairfield County to the region and beyond, but also is working these days on major goals like trying to raise the wages here in Fairfield County, trying to work on workforce development and training initiatives. These are all things that we're trying to do. We want investments, we're trying to recruit companies to come in, but the goal is to get good paying jobs here in Lancaster and make sure that we have the workforce to support these new companies that are coming in. The Lancaster CIC, the Community Improvement Corporation. This is an organization that's been around for many, many years. It was formed back in the 70s. Some of you may know about Rockmill Industrial Park, where we've recently recruited several large manufacturers and a local company as well with South Central Power and their announcement of creating a headquarters in our industrial park. The Lancaster CIC owns that property. Back in the 80s, when Anchor Hocking had land out there and decided they were no longer going to build on that land and expand their facilities, they donated that. And in order to donate that land, they had to have an entity to donate that to. So a Community Improvement Corporation was formed to manage that property. I mention that because the Chamber of Commerce is actually the administrator for that organization, and we spend some time with that group as well. A newer initiative that the mayor's been very involved in is kindergarten readiness. We've recognized in our community the importance of making sure that kids are ready for kindergarten. And you may ask, well, what's that have to do with anything? And Mayor Scheffler has plenty of stats that would back this up, but what we found is that when kids aren't prepared to go to kindergarten, they're immediately behind. So they fall behind when they have to take their first round of assessments. They remain behind really typically through their high school career, which then they're not quite ready to graduate, then they're not quite ready for the workforce, then they're not quite ready to be a good employee. You can see the downward stream effect. So kindergarten readiness is important in our community, and we've started to promote that. And then the Legislative Action Committee. This is a Chamber of Commerce committee that's been around for quite some time, and I would vouch to say probably one of the most important committees that we have. One of the things that a Chamber of Commerce is able to do for its members is lobby. And that means we can get in front of legislators when we either like policy or legislation that's on its way through the process, or when we don't like it and we think it's going to be unfriendly to our members. We spend some time here looking at these issues. We have a committee. Some of these issues, they come to us through various ways. We're always encouraging our members to submit issues that are affecting their industry. Sometimes we find them. Sometimes we partner with organizations like ours, like the Ohio Chamber of Commerce. We endorsed several different issues this past year. Lancaster Schools had an issue on the ballot last spring for the completion of their building project with the high school. We endorsed that issue. We also endorsed the City of Lancaster's income tax issue that was on the ballot just recently. So we will endorse issues from time to time. The one thing we don't do is endorse candidates. That's one thing our Legislative Action Committee does not do, is endorse candidates. I wanted to call attention, though, to one of the biggest issues we've looked at in quite a few years, and that was the bid in the state budget. And the bid stands for the business income deduction. This allowed for small businesses, any business, to deduct the first, I think, $250,000 from, and Linda's shaking her head, I have that number right, and Ron, the first $250,000 from of income that they raise in their money, in their business from their income tax. So it's been in place for a while, and it was a real help to small businesses especially, because they're able to reinvest that money back into employees, equipment. So the conversation that was going on in the State House, though, was that businesses are just taking that money and they're putting it in their pocket and they're going home and patting their own wallets, small business owners. But really that's not true. A lot of those businesses are dedicated to investing back in their businesses, and they were putting that money back into their business. So these are some of the things we've been working on, and I'm going to continue to talk a little bit about this legislative issue. So the Chamber of Commerce got involved at a local level. We started to write our representatives, and then we teamed up with the Ohio Chamber of Commerce, which has a larger legislative action team, and they were looking for folks to come up and testify in front of the Senate Finance Committee. So back in May, we took two of our board members, Angela Cryle, which some of you know, and Heather Yakes with Action Coach, and we went up and spent a lovely day at the State House. It was really quite the experience, I have to admit. We first met at the Ohio Chamber, where we sat down with their legislative team and other small business operators, I should say, by the way. We briefed in a room for a while to make sure we're all on the same page and that the story was going to be concise. And then we went to the State House. Little did we really know that these are budget issues, and the bid was won, but there were probably 8 to 10 other issues in the budget people were there to testify on as well. We went over to testify at 9. These two ladies finally got to speak their piece at about 4:30 in the afternoon that day. And we actually felt kind of lucky there, because there were people going after us. The cool thing about this story is that we went up, we testified along with several other small businesses throughout the state of Ohio, but what I like about it is Fairfield County was represented. The Ohio Chamber of Commerce put Angela out there. You can see on their social media. But this meant Fairfield County cared about its small business, and we were there at a state level representing our businesses. And I think we all should have a lot of pride in that we were there. Great ending to this story is they reinstated the bid in the state budget, and so that was a big win for small business. All right. Another exciting thing that happened past year, I mentioned our conference room, okay? This has been a year and a half in process, but we applied through the Fairfield County Foundation for a grant for $18,000 is what we finally figured out it was going to cost to completely remodel our conference room. If folks were in there before, I'm pretty sure that we were sitting on tables and chairs that may have been circa 1973, maybe. Anchor Hocking building, probably still there, left from the Anchor Hocking headquarters. And it was time for those to go for a lot of different reasons. But what we really wanted to provide is an area where our businesses, our chamber members, could use it for training sessions, where we could have board meetings in a more comfortable space, where it could be more usable rather than the big tables that we really couldn't move around. So fortunately, the Fairfield County Foundation looked at our application and awarded us, through the Terry McGee Sally Grimm Community Fund, our $18,000 grant. And we were able to create what we consider a state-of-the-art training facility and conference room for our members and for the community to use as far as nonprofits go. If you guys haven't been in there, stop in. It looks a lot different than what it used to. We're real proud of that, and we encourage you to take advantage of it. I mentioned earlier we received some recognition at the State Safety Council Awards. Here's a picture of us accepting our award, and a little picture of the award there. It's a little blurry, but we had to endure a couple weeks of Cheryl walking around the office, you know, with a little bit of a strut. But no, we were real proud of that, and thankful of Cheryl's efforts on that. So, as I kind of wrap up our, you know, that's kind of a year in review, if you will, some of the things we've been working on before I get to the big thing we've been working on. But I want to give a quick shout out, of course, to Cheryl and Margie. They do a tremendous amount of work behind the scenes that really make all this happen. And so I want to take the opportunity to personally thank them, and maybe we can all give them a round of applause for their work. I, of course, want to thank our board of directors. We have an incredibly supportive board of directors. They are willing to hear our new ideas, support us with our new ideas, which you'll see coming up here. We had some new ideas this past year. So really thankful for the board of directors that we have. We have volunteers to help us with our events. Some of you are sitting here in the audience. We have to thank them for all their help as we help put on our events. And of course, it's our members, our sponsors, our supporters, you folks sitting here that allows us to do what we do. Without our membership, without our sponsors, without our supporters, a Chamber of Commerce doesn't exist. You know, it's a group of business people that have decided to come together to create a larger voice, and that's what you're all doing by supporting the Chamber of Commerce. Okay, so what's next? We had a couple minor changes to our events and a few things this year. In 2019 and 2020 Fairfield Leadership Class. This is the largest leadership class we've had in recent history. We have 26 enrollees this year. We're about midway through this Fairfield Leadership Class. I was struggling. My records only go back to the early 90s as to who participated in Fairfield Leadership, but I was in front of another group of people. It may have been Amanda's father-in-law, actually, who spoke up and said, hey, because I said, I really can't pinpoint when Fairfield Leadership started. And he goes, I can, I was in the first class. So we have determined that this is the 35th year for Fairfield Leadership. So it's been around for quite some time. If you put an average of 15 participants per year, we're well over 500 members of this community that have participated in this program over the years. So that's pretty significant. And what we're going to do this year, as we wind down the year and we have our presentations on our strategic nonprofit partnerships that we've created, we are going to have an alumni reception following that event. So we're going to be putting kind of an all-call out for those who have participated in Fairfield Leadership. I guess we'll just have to kind of take their word for it because my records don't go back so far. So don't be an imposter, Rick.
We'll wear a disguise.
Yeah, okay. So that's going to be exciting. That's coming up probably in April. And then the big one. It's kind of cut in half there, but the annual trade show, dinner, and awards, okay? I threatened, we were talking before the presentation, I said, I should just go in and say we moved the annual dinner to May. I'm done. This is something that, from an organizational standpoint, from a resource standpoint, this is our biggest event of the year. It's our biggest fundraiser of the year. It's our biggest celebration of what business, of what our members have accomplished throughout the year, of what our great community leaders have accomplished throughout the year. But the only thing is that for who knows how long, 30, 40 years, we've been having this thing in January. And that's okay, tradition's great. But it's not so great when it's the week before and we're watching the weather as a chamber staff. We've got, I don't know, $15,000 worth of catering sitting in some refrigerator, ready to be prepared in the next day or so. And really, we're at the mercy of the weather. And if it's a level 3, we have to call the event, and that's a big deal for us. That would be a big investment down the drain for us. Not to mention, even when it's a level 1 and 2, and we make all you guys come out, the looks that we get from you are, it's a little unnerving that night. And I say, hey, I'm sorry, so we're really excited. We surveyed our membership. We got the results back. We asked them several real poignant questions. When's a better time for this? Would you like it at a different time of the year? Yes, 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 and yes. So eventually we landed on May 7th is the annual dinner and trade show this year. We're still going to be at Fisher Catholic. The other big change is we ask our members, Saturday work for you, or would you rather do a weeknight? And my hunch was that people would rather do a weeknight, and the results came back that they'd rather do a weeknight. I'm not too proud to admit that, hey, on a Saturday, no one wants to strap on the tie in the middle of January and head out after you've been watching football or whatever during the day. So, May 7th is a Thursday night, and we're going to be at Fisher Catholic High School. And we're really excited about that. Hopefully you saw our wonderful video announcement with some very poor acting by myself and my fellow executive committee members and the staff. But we're really excited about that. The Athena Award Banquet. This is a long time tradition here in Lancaster. Excuse me. The McGraw family has been supporting this award since for 35 years. This is the 35th anniversary of the Athena Banquet coming up next August. And we're excited about that. Well, first of all, we're very thankful to the McGraw family for supporting it and starting the award. If you don't know the story, they were in the automotive industry through an Oldsmobile dealership. The award was born and founded by the Lansing Chamber of Commerce back in the early 80s to recognize women in the workplace. In the early 80s, still a lot of glass ceilings out there, still a lot of efforts to try to have women break through, and they weren't quite being recognized for their efforts. So this award was started by the Lansing Chamber of Commerce. The very cool thing about this year is we're going to have a much bigger event. We're going to have to move facilities, so we're going to end up being at the Mill Event Center rather than the Country Club because we've outgrown it. If you've been to our event there the last couple of years, we're putting past winners in side rooms where they can't see, and it's just not conducive for the type of event that we want to put on. So we're going to be moving. But the very cool thing is John McGraw has been working with the founder of the Athena Award. Her name's Martha Mertz. She's the chamber executive that created the award. She's going to be joining us as our keynote speaker. So it's going to be a great celebration. We're going to invite all the past Athena recipients to come back the night before for a reception with Martha, and then she'll be our keynote speaker for the next night at the awards banquet. So we're really excited about that. Now, with the move of the annual trade show and dinner, I could not for the life of me convince Cheryl and Margie to do a golf outing several weeks later. I don't know why they didn't want to try to do it. I'd rather just get it done, but no, kidding. That would be a lot for us to organize. So the annual golf outing is actually going to be moving to the fall, and that's a change that hasn't happened in a long time. But we're going to be on September 11th, and we've confirmed that date with Valley View, and Barbie's here right now, and we're excited to be back at Valley View Golf Course for our annual golf outing, September 11th. So those are some exciting changes to our events. So, what else is going on? Well, we have a new secret weapon at the chamber. You may have seen our announcements, but we cut her off there, sorry. Julia Taylor is our new marketing coordinator, and Julia, if you want to raise your hand back there. So we're really excited to have Julia. We've had a marketing coordinator position at the chamber in the past, but for the last 4 or 5 years, we have not. At one point, we had a person leave that position, and I made the silly mistake of allowing my board to say, well, you could probably just do without that marketing position for a little while. And if anybody's been in the managed people for long enough, that's the end of that position for a while. But we've grown, and our efforts and what we're trying to accomplish have grown, and frankly, our budget is looking great right now. Our cash on hand looks really good. Our revenue's been looking good. Don't get me wrong, we're still a nonprofit, but we were able to bring a marketing coordinator back on. We're really excited. Julia's been with us. This is her 4th week with us, I think. So we want to welcome her. She's got a marketing degree from Loyola, Chicago, and we're really excited. She's got some agency experience, and she's already hit the ground running. My onboarding calendar, she whipped through that in 10 days, and then I had to figure out the next step. But she's done a great job. She's writing press releases for us already, and you're going to see a big difference in our social media presence and a lot of different things that we do. So we're really happy to have Julia on. You'll see a little bit more why she's going to be real important to the team as we move forward. The thing that we really want to talk about today is a big project that we've embarked on this year. And Margie and Cheryl are going to be handing out some information. So out with the old, in with the new. The redesign of our member due structure, okay? So we have completely redesigned the membership due structure. Just a little history on what it looked like before. If you remember, there was a very convoluted schedule of pricing that included how many members you had, and we charged you based on how many members you had plus a base fee. It was different pricing for attorneys and partners and doctors and partners and banks, and let me just put it this way, it's an old way of running a membership-based organization, okay? And we knew that in order for us to grow, in order for us to serve our members more effectively, we had to rearrange how we looked at the services that we sold, okay? So, we embarked on this project back in March, okay? Sat down with the board. We agreed that we needed to make some changes in this area. So we hired a consultant that is well known in the Chamber of Commerce industry. Her name was Kathy Height from Height Performance Consulting. And she helped us work through this process. In May, we hosted a member focus group with some of our members, and we got their feedback based on what benefits were important to what type of member. And I say that, and I'll say it again, what benefits were important to what type of member. Each of our members or type of members has a different really need from the Chamber of Commerce. Some people really need the networking and marketing. Some want just the community exposure. Some just want to be the partner in the community. There's a lot of different reasons that people want to be involved in the Chamber of Commerce. So then in May, we also worked with a consultant to sketch out a draft of our new tiered benefits model. And that's actually what we're doing right here. Look at the deep thought that I'm in right there. Wow. It might have just been a headache I had after the focus group all morning. But no, this was a great exercise. So literally right after the focus group, we took those ideas back to the Chamber of Commerce room, and we sat there and we just started putting stuff on the wall, started creating ideas, started bundling what we already do. So it was a great process. So then we moved on to June. So we fine-tuned a draft of our what we thought was going to be a decent dues structure. In June, we presented that draft of the model to our board of directors. Later on in July, we brought some of the members of that focus group back and presented that draft, got a little bit more feedback. All along, we're collecting feedback to fine-tune this process, or this dues structure. In August, then, we also conducted a financial analysis. So many of you that run a business understand how scary it is to change your pricing structure on anything that you offer, because you're not sure if the members are going to appreciate the way that you've changed the pricing structure. You have to do some research. So this has been, a nerve-wracking experience for us, because we've been doing the old way for a long, long time. So we went through a pretty in-depth financial analysis, which included looking at our Chamber of Commerce members, each one of them, what they spent with us the entire year, not just their membership due structure, but also when they spent for their membership dues, but they attended events, they sponsored events. So we looked at their total spend to try to understand how that breakdown of those dollars would look. So in September, we presented that financial analysis to the board of directors. They became comfortable with that, and we continued to move forward. October, we started to prepare our CRM and accounting system. So we operate off a system called Chamber Master. We introduced that about a year and a half ago. That's our customer database, our customer relationship management system. That's, all your contact information, you're all listed in there. That's how we manage that. We can do our billing. We can do all kinds of really cool things. We've only been using some of the features of that, frankly, for the past year and a half, but we're getting ready to introduce some new features. So we continued in November to prepare the collateral and communications for the launch, some of the sheets that you see on your tables there, along with some that you're going to see come out within tomorrow and the rest of the week. So in December, as a matter of fact, next week, this is our first launch of this new due structure, but the majority of our members will receive their January 1 invoices next week that will include this new membership due structure. And I'll get into a little bit more later how we're going to do that. So what did we end up with? We ended up with a 6-tiered value-added benefit offering designed for our members by our members. We really feel like we got the input of our membership, our board of directors, so we feel pretty confident that we've put together some really value-added packages for our members. So what do those look like? You have the sheets in front of you, so I probably won't go through word by word. But we started with a tier called the Networker. This tier offers everything that the Chamber of Commerce offers today for the most part. You can read through those. These are things that all of our Chamber of Commerce members can take advantage of today. This tier starts out at $300. That's right with our price range at our base cost today. There's a couple items that aren't included in this package that are included in the next package. And that's our promoter package. This is someone who's running a small business that's looking forward to promoting their business using the Chamber of Commerce. The Networker package is the same, but the Networker members like to get in front of other members in events like this. They like to take advantage of the base features that we offer. This package, you want to promote their business a little bit more, okay? So what you're going to see different here than what you didn't see on the last package is a little bit more marketing opportunity. You'll see that there's a 30-day rotating banner on our website when you go to look up your company in that category on our member search, okay? That's a feature that we haven't used on our new website and database. There's an enhanced promo package you see there in the middle. This allows our members to submit discounts, what we call hot deals, member-to-member discounts, calendar events, press releases, job postings. These are all things today that you frankly submit to Margie to include in our weekly email newsletter. You'll have the ability now to log on to your own portal on the Chamber of Commerce website and submit this information, which is where we will scrape that information from to build things like our newsletter and promote it through social media to our members. You get the opportunity here in this category to also use our member mailing list. This is about 550 contacts of the key decision makers in each business. And then some other resources that you get to take advantage of. We believe folks that want to take advantage of this package and the type of member that they are appreciate the Small Business University luncheons and want to utilize some of those training services. So we're including 4 luncheons in this package. Those usually are just a $15 cost, but we're going to throw those in. 2 half-day conference room rentals. We are seeing that people want to use the conference room a lot more, whether it be for hosting interviews, whether it be for training sessions that they want to have in their own business. But we believe some of these are smaller businesses that don't have a conference room that they can take advantage of. So this package is a $450 investment, and the value comes in at $1,500. The next package is what we've called the Achiever. This package is, again, somebody who's looking to gain more exposure in the community through the Chamber of Commerce. This includes all the other membership benefits you see in the other 2 packages, right? In the enhanced marketing promo package. There is an enhanced listing as well at the top. The only difference between this listing on our website and in our is that you're going to be able to post videos and photos to your listing. So you could actually post a little 30-second commercial of yourself if you wanted to on our website in that listing, and you'll be able to do that when you get to this level. There's a 90 rotating banner ad. We are throwing in a sponsorship package here of the State of the Schools, County, and City package. Today we sell that as a $300 package to our members. This is part of this package now, and this is the only level that you can buy in to get into that State of the Schools, County, and City sponsorship. We're also allowing in this package for our members to submit a 2-minute media spotlight, and we'll feature that on all our social media sites. You guys can get creative with that. You can have a professional video done by Mr. Competti and his team, or you can create it yourself, you know, using your smartphone or your iPad or your home camera. Do they still do this? You can submit that to us, and then again, we'll promote that for you to our members and to the community. You get, again, the use of the mailing list. And then down here is some feedback that we received during the focus groups. Some of our members said, hey, we really like the opportunity when the chamber is able to bring business leaders together and get in front of policymakers and get in front of people that are making decisions for our community. So that would be local, state, federal officials, and talk about important issues to our community. So infrastructure, transportation, workforce development, some of these things that are real important to our community. And we'd like to have a seat around that table to discuss that with these leaders. So what we've created now is a new program called the Leadership Roundtable. So we will be inviting these public officials twice a year to the table to meet with our folks that have partnered with us in the Achiever package and some of the other packages that you're going to see in a bit. They'll have a seat at the round table. They get invited to one of those throughout the year, and they can voice their opinion and be part of that conversation. You also get the opportunity in this level to use our conference room. This package is a buy-in at $750. All right. This next section is what we consider our community champions. You know, these folks have been longtime Chamber of Commerce members typically. They represent a lot of different types of businesses. They see value in the Chamber of Commerce in a lot of different ways, but mostly they want to be an advocate to the Chamber of Commerce. They want to help influence how business is happening in our community. They want to be a leader in helping promote the business environment and the community environment in our community. So we've created 3 packages for these folks. The Advocates package is a $2,500 package. And what we've done, if you remember some of our main sponsorship opportunities, the package sponsorships that we offered in years past, we've included those in these different levels. So you get, with this package, basically all the other things that included in the other packages. But now you're going to get a gold sponsor for the annual dinner, gold sponsor for the golf outing, silver sponsor for the Athena banquet, recognition as an advocate. And here we also see that Fairfield Leadership was one of those things that came up too. We mentioned there's 26 attendees in this. It's $650 to sponsor a person in leadership. We're going to get a half off in this package to members that buy in at this level, and an invite to the semi-annual leadership roundtable. The next package is basically the same. You're going to get a rotating banner for 12 months versus 6 months on our website. You're going to have a platinum sponsorship for our 2 main events. You're going to get a Fairfield Leadership registration and an invitation to the roundtable. And then our leaders package. Again, a 12-month banner ad. In this category, I should have mentioned, I'm sorry, in the middle category too. The other thing that our Chamber of Commerce members mentioned when we surveyed them and did the focus groups is, hey, you guys do these cafe series, these little luncheons, and oftentimes you invite a subject matter expert in that's maybe not a Chamber of Commerce member or outside the community. And they basically said, hey, you know, within our businesses, we have subject matter experts on a lot of things that your members probably want to hear. So could we, you know, be the presenters at these? And we said that we could make that work. So in the influencer level, you'll see that you get the opportunity to be a cafe series sponsor for either a breakfast or luncheon. We're going to probably start doing these in the morning too, here and there. Okay, and you can provide that presentation. It can be someone from your staff. It can be with another business that you work with. but that's your Chamber Cafe series to be the sponsor and presenter for, okay? Now we're going to work with you to develop that content. You know, make sure Rick doesn't come in and, you know, do a sales job on, what is that you sell on the side? Okay. So, you know, we'll work with our members to develop those. So in the next package, you get 2 opportunities to do that with the cafe series. You can see that you're a presenting sponsor for the annual dinner, a platinum sponsor for our golf outing, a platinum sponsor for our Athena banquet, in recognition as a leader, and, you know, basically all the communications we put out, including VIP seating at our sponsored events. In this level, you get 2 Fairfield leadership, basically scholarships, if you will, and 2 invitations to the semi-annual leadership roundtable, which is a little contradictory there. I'll have to fix that. 1, 2, that's confusing. But this is what we've put together. This is the model that chambers all across the United States are going to. As a matter of fact, membership organizations are going to this. They've actually been going to this model for the last 20 years. About 60% of all Chamber of Commerces have already gotten here. So we're not last, but we certainly weren't first. We waited a long time with an old model to make this work. Again, the reasons we're doing this is because the way that we charged banks were based on their deposits. That's an old way of doing that. It's, you know, that doesn't mean that you get any more value from the Chamber of Commerce just because you have more deposits than the next guy, you pay more, you know. That doesn't always make sense. You know, we have manufacturing companies that have 300 employees, okay? Well, their fees were based on a $300 base fee plus $3 for every one of their employees, okay? Not every one of their employees are going to take advantage of the things that the Chamber of Commerce has to offer. It's an old way of doing it. We feel what we've created here, by working with our members, by doing the industry research, by investing in consulting, that we've developed packages that we think are a value add to our members, and they can choose packages that best fit their needs. So, I'll open it up to questions, but before I do so, I want to just tell you about what the next steps are. I mentioned that we're launching this in our invoicing that's coming out next week. About half of our Chamber of Commerce members renew on January 1. You might say, why half? You know, that's strange. A couple years before I came to work for the Chamber of Commerce, apparently we had a big blow up in our computer system and our QuickBooks lost everything. So at some point we had to start from scratch and say, okay, every member's anniversary date, their join date is going to be January 1. So since then, most of our members have renewed on January 1. But as we've gotten away from that catastrophe, if you will, we sell new memberships every month. So it's starting to spread out throughout the year as to when our members renew. But it's a big mailing for us. It's a big invoicing period for us. So next week, the 11th, Margie's like, oh yeah, that's the date. She knows. We'll be sending the invoice packages out. What we've done in the invoice packages is that we've, again, taken a look at your total spend with the Chamber of Commerce on an annual basis, how much you typically would spend with us. And again, that includes your membership dues, plus any sponsorships, plus events that you might attend, anything that you've done with us where you've supported us throughout the year. We've broken that up into a big grid, and we said, hey, this business, based on what we know about them, based on what they spend with us, we think that this package probably fits them. So your invoice is going to come in, and we're going to make a suggestion that this is the package for you. You have the opportunity to buy in at any of our packages. We're just trying to match up that process a little bit and streamline it and suggest a package for you. Rick, we came up with a $30,000 package for you. It's not listed here.
That'll be great for my Hello Kitty charm bracelet.
Yeah, we did. We did the research, and we believe that's where you should be. We are already out talking to our members. Cheryl and I have had multiple meetings. We'll be meeting with some of you. You're going to see more information come out tomorrow. We've got a press release coming out tomorrow. You will all receive the information that's on the table here, plus additional information. We have an FAQ sheet that's coming out. You might have some questions still remaining. Hopefully this will help answer some of that. This is all coming to you tomorrow via email. And every member is going to receive it. So that's the next step. On January 1, depending on what package you bought in, you're going to have some new features to enjoy with the Chamber of Commerce, and part of that is that membership portal that is going to be now live. We're going to have to morph into a small office of like a help desk situation, I'm sure, but there are really cool features in there that we're not taking advantage of. So that's what's coming up. You might ask, hey, I don't renew until May of this year, okay? If you're interested in this and you want to get started taking advantage of one of these packages before May, we will prorate your current membership based on what the new package looks like, okay? And we can work with you. Well, you'll have a new anniversary date. We'll go ahead and set it as of that day that you call us or when we make that agreement. But we're willing to prorate wherever you're at in your membership right now and get you into one of these packages. So, I have talked a lot, according to my voice and the way my throat feels. What questions might you all have? Yes, Adam.
So the Cafe Series presenter shows up in the influencers and the leaders. But what if I'm not an influencer or a leader? How can I present at a Cafe Series lunch?
The short answer, you can't. So, one of the things that we're trying to do with these packages is, you have to look at it as an industry too, and I can understand the question, but when I go to buy cable services, what if I want, I like this package, but I also want ESPN and this and this and this and this. Well, a lot of times they say, well, you just can't buy into it until you buy into this package. So what we're trying to group our value and our into these packages that seem to fit with what our members want to do. And not every one of these packages is going to fit everybody. We know that. It's a good question. I hope it's not too abrupt, but that's how we've organized this.
Travis, will that hold true for advertisements at specific events? Like if I just want to do a tea ad at the Chamber Golf outing, can I still buy into that? Or?
That's a good question. So, the packages you see right here, which we used to sell as sponsorship package, the package as a whole is not available anymore. But if you want to sponsor the golf outing for a tea sponsor, you can buy these things a la carte, individually. Now, what we always like to do is if we look at it, a lot of times if you want to buy this a la carte, this a la carte, and this a la carte, a lot of times you look at one of these packages, you go, the value is really to buy the whole thing. Other questions? Margie.
No, I just wanted to add on to the question about presenting it something. All chamber members, if you don't buy into a package where you get conference room use, we will have that as an item you can purchase for a half day or a full day to use the conference room, and then you can do any kind of presentation for your business that you wish.
That's a good point.
Yeah, and we can, with flyers and things like that in the front lobby or however the advertising.
Help present your own personal lunch and learn.
Promote your own presentation in the conference room. And I don't remember if Travis mentioned it, but that table setup we have very successfully moved to a classroom style setup, which is very nice for presentations on that big screen that we have up.
Yeah, we can accommodate about 25. Any other questions about the process, the package? Some of you might have questions you're not comfortable asking in front of the group. That is just fine. We invite you to talk to any of us, schedule a meeting with us. We're happy to sit down with you. We're trying to make our rounds. 550 members is not easy to get to all of them. So we're trying to communicate in a lot of different ways. But if you'd like to set up a meeting with us, we're happy to meet with you. We really do thank all of you for your support over the years. Again, this Chamber of Commerce wouldn't be where it's at today without the support of our members. We hope that we've just organized a way to support us in a little bit more efficient, effective, a little more value-driven way. So we're looking forward to continue working with you. And if you don't have any more questions, we'll be around here for a little bit, but please stop in, check out our new conference room, and we'll talk to you about what we've been doing. So thank you all for coming. I really appreciate it.